Thanks, David. Hi, guys. Hey, where's Brett? Tall Shift Brett. Is he in the building? Yeah, I want to give a brief shout out to Brett for putting this together. Hey, so here's the thing, and here's why this is kind of cool. That I feel like I get a chance for just a minute, and then I'll let Sky Roll play. Can you hear me? If I go like this, is that better? Is that better? Great, because that saves my voice. So, I remember the last night that Skeletones was open, we had like 35 bands over the course of like 4 days as a big farewell. Some of you guys were there, and the thing is, going into that, like that was kind of an emotional weekend for my wife and I. It was an emotional weekend for a lot of us that were a part of this thing for a decade. And so, leading up into that last few days, I had this like grandiose idea in my head of like this like 5-10 minute eulogy closing talk that I wanted to do, and I had it all planned out like what I wanted to say, and I thought everybody's gonna hear it, and everybody's gonna, you know, instead of being sad, they're gonna be like sad and walking out of there a little taller. And the thing is I was all set for that, and then the night before, the Offbeats asked if I would hop on stage and do Seeing Red by Minor Threat, and I'm an 80s kid. So I did that, and had zero voice the next day. So this whole plan I had, gone. So the night of, I sat on the stage, true story, if you weren't there, I sat on the stage with my laptop, and I would type words into Microsoft Word, and then my wife would read them, as if it was me, and then I tried to get her to say inappropriate things in front of people, because it's not inappropriate for us, because we're married, and she's like, I'm not going to say that. I'm like, oh, shoot, right? So, Brent, thank you for a chance, and I think this is all I want to say. I just want to take just a quick minute as kind of a thank you to all of us, just to kind of leave us with this one thought, and then move on with the night. And so I want to start with what I'm sure is on everybody's mind, Mexican food. Right? So, bringing 3 children into the world, one of the things I was looking forward to as part of fatherhood was introducing them to burritos. So I took my son as soon as he could walk and he had teeth, just like 2 of them, that's good enough, and we're gonna go have burritos. And I had it in my mind how this was gonna play out. That we were gonna go, and we were gonna go get Mexican food, and he would sit across from me eating his first burrito, and he would look at me with a tear in his eye and say, Father, thank you. That someday when we hit the teen years and we were struggling to find our boundaries and find our voice with each other, that he would look at me and say, well, Dad, you did introduce me to burritos, and so whatever you say, yes, Father. I knew that's how it was going to play out, and so we got to the restaurant, right, and I unbuckled him from his car seat, and we got out of the car, right, I'm there in the back seat, he gets out, and I shut the door, and I start walking in, and we're talking about burritos, and I realized that I'm having a conversation with nobody. And I turn around, and my 2.5-year-old son is in the parking lot, and he's just standing there. And he's kind of crouched down, and he's looking at the ground, and he says, bugs. I'm like, what? I said, yeah, buddy, there's bugs. They're all over the planet. Yeah, there's burritos inside. And he doesn't care about burritos. He wants to look at bugs. And in that moment, there's this moment where I realize it's not about burritos anymore. It's about my son. And in that moment, I had to turn around and go back. Turn around and go back. In that moment, if he had wanted to stay there all day and talk about bugs, right? This was like a new discovery. Like, look at this. Bugs. And we sat in the parking lot. I'm like, yeah, buddy, these are bugs. He's like, there's bugs everywhere. He was so fascinated by the bugs. And here's the point. The point is that for a lot of us during the Skeletones era, for most of us, we were kind of coming of age. We were graduating high school. We were going through college. We were discovering what kind of music we liked. We were trying out things. We were starting careers. Some of us were starting families, right? And everything was new. And we live in a culture, right? And I know some of my old punk rock now is going to come out and it's going to sound a little preachy, but just bear with me for a second. We live in a culture that says, dream everything that you can dream, because it's all about you. You can dream it, you can do it, you can be anything you want to be, do anything you want to do. It's all about you. It's your way, right away, every day. And it's all about you. And it's the culture we live in. And I'm going to say this right now as a Christian, as a pastor, as a father with my kids in the back of the room. It's bullshit. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's about turn around and go back. And the things like, I remember when I was in a hardcore band, and I'd been playing in a band for 7 years, and we finally got to a spot where it felt like things were happening, doors were opening, bands that we wanted to play with, we were getting to play with, places we wanted to play, we were getting to play. And I had this moment, right, when I get to be about 24, 25, and the thing is the whole reason we started a band was not just to go out there and be rock stars, but we really cared about the people that came out to our shows. And there was this moment where I felt like, I think this is the part where we turn around and we go back. Don't just turn around and look back. We can spend tonight and turn around and look back, and that's a cool thing. But turn around and go back. See, for a lot of us, myself included, the reason we are where we're at today is because somebody older than you took you under their wing. Somebody turned around and came back. Somebody who cares about burritos decided that you were interested in bugs, and so they sat and talked about bugs with you. And so what I want to challenge us with as we leave this place, because now, let's remember that we were an us, and in the community that we got to be a part of was an us thing. But let's remember that there's an us outside of us, and there's an us that's coming up behind us, and there comes a time where we turn around and go back. And we don't forget that there's young people that are hurting, young people that are looking for a connection, young people that are looking for an us, and they will find it in the worst possible places. And they'll find it in abusive relationships. They will find it in self-destructive relationships. And so I don't know what that means for you. But I can tell you the thing that motivated us, the thing that motivated me to sit down on a Saturday morning with my bandmates and say, I think it's time to put the guitar in the case, and I want to open up something where people can come and we can become us, a place that's safe, a place that's home away from home. And this was never about Mark and that. This was about you guys. It was about us, because all we want to do was turn around and go back. And I want to challenge you guys. I don't know what that means for you in your stage of life. As some of you are starting families, some of you got out of college now, some of you are starting careers, and that's a cool thing. But don't forget to turn around and go back.